Tony and I have known each other for many years. I'm not sure just how long, but he started his career in public service in our legislature. He was elected to the legislature from Fargo and did an outstanding job in the North Dakota legislature. Subsequent to that, he was then appointed labor commissioner by Governor Ed Schaefer, who was governor right before I was governor, and did a fine job in that post as well. Tony and I actually spent a fair amount of time together on the campaign trail. He ran for office for the Public Service Commission in 2000, which is the year that I first ran for governor. So we traveled the state, and I got to know Tony very well and see him not only in the context of talking to the public and interacting with the citizens of our state, but also in a private one-on-one context as well. And he's always demonstrated great judgment, great integrity, and great character. As a matter of fact, as we'd go around, we used to all give presentations. I think that year we had about 14 candidates for statewide office, something like that. Maybe it was 12, I can't remember exactly. But we would all make our presentations. And whenever my wife, Mikey, watched all the presentations, afterwards, after I finished up, I'd, come and ask her, well, how did I do? And she'd say either, okay or terrible, depending on how I did that day, but or good. But invariably, she'd comment on how well Tony did addressing the public and encourage me to kind of watch him and develop some of his techniques. And that's a true story. She really did. But he served on the PSC now for a dozen years, Public Service Commission in North Dakota for 2 full terms, 2 6-year terms, including serving as the chairman of our Public Service Commission. Outstanding job. He's also been elected by his peers as the president of the National Association, of Regulatory Utility Commissioners, which is not only a tremendous honor, but really demonstrates what his peers think of him. All 50 states across the country electing him to that position, and he's just finishing his service in that position. The other and final comment I would make is it's not just reflective of his abilities that he was elected the national president of NARUC, but it also means that he brings to this job with the FERC working knowledge and relationship with regulators across the country, as well as companies across the country that are working to produce more energy for all Americans. And I think when you think about the FERC and what they need to do and the challenges that we face in energy right now, I think that is a tremendous background and exactly the kind of grassroots background we need, not only that experience at the local level, but the knowledge and the relationships that he has across the country that he's developed in his role as the national president. So I'm very pleased today to introduce and welcome Tony Clark to this hearing. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I'm greatly honored to be before you today as a nominee for the FERC. I'd like to thank President Obama for nominating me, and I'd like to thank Senator McConnell for his support as well. I'm especially pleased to acknowledge my own 2 senators from North Dakota, Senator Hoeven, thank you for your kind words, and Senator Conrad's support. It both means a great deal to me. Last but most importantly, I want to acknowledge my family, who has been so supportive of my career in public service, to my wife, Amy, our 3 boys, Thomas, Alex, and Michael, and to my parents. They've always been there for me. As I indicated, the distance between North Dakota and Washington prevents them from being there here in person today, but I did want them to know how much they mean to me. FERC does extremely important work on behalf of the American people. Its work plays a critical role in protecting our energy consumers and the infrastructure that provides them with some of the necessities of life in the modern world. If confirmed for the Senate, I'd look forward to putting to good use the experiences that I've gained over the last approximately 18 years. I've had the tremendous honor of serving the people in North Dakota since I was in my early 20s. first as a state legislator, then as a state employee, the head of a cabinet-level agency, and for the last 12 years as a member of the Public Service Commission, the state's top utility regulatory body. Perhaps the best way to introduce my experience to the committee is to tell the story of North Dakota over the last decade. Since January of 2001, I've served as a Public Service Commissioner for the state, and I'm currently the senior member and chairman of the NDPSC. When I first joined the commission, our state had a regionally important energy sector comprised of several baseload lignite-fired power plants and one large Western Area Power Administration hydro dam. In the year 2000, North Dakota was effectively 50th in wind energy production with no commercial wind energy, and as recently as 2006, we were the nation's 9th largest oil-producing state. What a difference a few years has made in the life of my home state. Today, North Dakota is amongst the top 10 wind energy producing states with approximately 1,400 megawatts of commercial capacity. We've sited or are in the process of siting hundreds of miles of new electric transmission line. North Dakota is a leader in clean coal and innovative carbon capture and sequestration projects. Hundreds of millions of dollars have been invested in oil and gas pipelines and processing infrastructure, and it was just announced that North Dakota is now the nation's 3rd largest oil producing state and is expected to be second only to Texas within as little as a year. North Dakota has truly become an example of an all-of-the-above energy state. Much like the FERC at the federal level, the NDPSC is the lead regulatory agency at the state level for jurisdictional matters related to investor-owned utilities, pipelines, and the siting of energy development projects. In my tenure in office, I've participated in proceedings that have authorized approximately $6 billion in energy infrastructure projects. Having a hands-on experience in helping to regulate and shape energy policy during this period of rapid change has given me insights into both the opportunities and the challenges associated with energy development, and it's this unique experience that I hope to bring to the Commission should I be confirmed. Another experience that I've had, and Senator Hoeven indicated some of it, which was my tenure as president of NARUC, the National Association of Regulatory Utility Commissioners. Within NARUC, I worked hard to ensure that all voices were heard, successfully working across regional lines, philosophical lines, party lines, for consensus-oriented solutions that I hope benefited our nation's consumers. The experience, perhaps more than any other one that someone could have, has deepened my respect for and my understanding of the regional diversity that exists across this country. If I'm confirmed, I hope to take this broad understanding of how energy regulation works at both the state and federal level with me to the FERC. It's probably safe to say that there's not a single state across the country with which I have not had at least some interaction, and should I be confirmed, I will be a much better commissioner for that experience. Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, the FERC has big issues ahead of it. Developing infrastructure in the right way, facilitating Americans' access to affordable, reliable, environmentally responsible forms of energy, protecting our nation's critical assets. These are all top-of-mind issues for me, as I know they are for you. If confirmed, I look forward to engaging with you on these important issues and would be happy to provide whatever expertise I may have in the furtherance of your important work.